What's up, everybody? I'm Shiloh the Boss, that's Boss with a Zero, and welcome to the fourth episode of Johncast. Today we're going to be talking about everything Deadpool. I'm joined by BxA Dragon,
Hello.
Great Saiiyaman,
Hey.
Mighty Asterisk,
Hello.
and our special guest, Mr. Way T. Wilson.
Yo.
Alrighty, everybody. Just so you
Okay,
know, this video will contain all of the spoils. We're going to be talking about the video game, we're going to be talking about the movie, and we're going to be talking about the comic books. So if you haven't read, played, or watched any of these, please stop watching now because we're going to ruin everything for you. But if you guys are caught up with everything, then please keep listening.
Or if you want to learn everything you can, then this would be a perfect spot for you to start off.
Before we get into anything big, let's wish Deadpool a happy late birthday. It has been 25 years since Deadpool was born.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm almost as old as him.
So, what did you guys think of the movie?
Well, the movie was great. The fucking, what's it called? When I went to the movie theater, however, it was kind of a bummer for me because I went there with my Deadpool sweater, and it zips up all the way up. And I had it like that when I went to go to the theater, and they told me I had to take it off because there was no masks allowed because of recent shootings and stuff, which I completely understand. I just didn't know at the time, and I was bummed out. But it was cool. But the freaking popcorn line and everything was so long, I ended up missing like a good chunk of the movie in the beginning. It sucked. I had to go back to watch it again in order to catch what I missed. But aside from that, it was great. I even got a poster from going to see it in IMAX the first day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't tell you to put your hoodie back up if you look like Mr. Wilson. How burnt your face is.
Oh damn, that would have been fucked up.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. Put it back on.
You know, you probably had a better experience than I did. My experience was the first time I saw the movie, I had a really bad, well, not really bad, but I had a bad experience towards like the last maybe half hour of the movie. As soon as I got there, I had my popcorn and soda ready. I had my Deadpool gear on. I was ready to watch it. I was excited. I was like a freaking kid in the candy store. And the last part of the movie where they walk up when the final fight against Ajax and all them, my friend points out to me that there's a guy sitting behind us with a breathing problem. And this is what I hear for the rest of the movie. All you hear is...
Oh, he fell
God.
asleep?
That's
Like that's all I hear. No, the guy was wide awake. He was snoring while being awake. At first, I thought he was just jerking it. He was like a weird, creepy old guy. But no, he was just sitting there, and that's all you hear. That's how he was breathing. I was so pissed because I blocked it out throughout the entire movie until my friend pointed it out. It got so bad that my friends got up and sat somewhere else.
Damn.
I mean, what if he was just sleeping awake? I mean, with his eyes open, like some people do that.
No, because at the very end when they do the whole like the after credit scene, he stood there, standing up, watching it, still going.
Oh,
If
man.
anything, he got louder.
So, like, he moaned at the end, like...
It was like I was like, God damn! I know the movie's that is good, but holy shit!
It's an orgasm.
For me,
movie.
at some point, this guy behind me, he's like, he looked youngish. I'd say probably like early 40s. But towards like the end of the movie, I just hear... And I'm like, are you serious? You really gonna do that on the movie? You're really gonna ruin this for me? And then like he got up and he's like, oh yeah. And he sat back down, went back to sleep. I'm like,
Am I the only
"Aw,
person
man."
who didn't have fucking weird people in the theater?
I don't know.
I didn't.
You
So
you're
we-
I
lucky.
said I didn't have
Two
any
of us had
problems.
a good time.
Yeah, someone had a good movie experience. Not like
How was
us.
your guys' experience? What you guys just sat through? No babies crying, no parents leaving, no nothing.
Well,
I
the
did.
good
I
thing
did.
is
I did
that-
see people leave.
Really?
What?
Mhm. I definitely saw people leave with their kids.
Okay, then that's probably why.
Yeah, it's a rated R movie. You would think that parents would get the gist of it and be
I,
like,
I
hey.
I remember the same thing when I saw Watchmen in theaters. I saw Watchmen in theaters the night it came out, and there was all kinds of kids there, and everyone left. It was
I'm
insane.
actually glad that there was no kids in my theater. I walked in and I'm like, please, 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 please. I go in, there's like kids around my age. I'm like, all right, all right. Except for that old guy though.
Yeah. The
fuck that
second
old
time
boy.
I saw it, the second time I saw the movie, I purposely sat at the end of the row next to the steps. So when I see the parents walking by, leaving with their kids, I'm laughing at them.
Ha ha, sucks for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks to suck.
It was really, or I wouldn't say rated R, but like it was too much for little kids. I mean,
Yeah.
They really went all out with this rated R thing. I loved it.
we see.
I thought it was kind of
strippers.
tame. I thought it was super
Yeah.
tame. Like
Really?
it really
Honestly,
was
I
not.
honestly think that they could have done more, but they decided to just like, you know what, let's just leave it at this. You
Well,
know.
there was a whole bunch of budget cuts for the movie. There was like what 6, 7, like about $6, $7 million cut from their budget. There was a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, wasn't
Right
their
at the
budget-
end.
Wasn't their budget only
Right at
53
the end.
million?
That what?
Wasn't their budget only 53 million?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably it probably could have
pretty
been
low budget.
60 because of that budget.
It was incredibly cheap, whatever it is, because they didn't believe in this movie at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hated that fact. Fox, they were just
All
like,
thanks
we'll
to
do
Ryan
it.
Reynolds.
We'll do it.
I mean, I remember when New Line was going to do it in like 2003, and
Right.
like it's been working on for a while.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
when-
been
when-
like 11 years in the making. Jesus.
Around there, yeah.
When a lot of people were talking about, this is early back when, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, when they even hinted the idea of the Deadpool movie, when they was just talking about just the idea, I was one of the people who thought it wasn't going to be great because I heard, Ryan Reynolds was going to be in it. And after watching Green Lantern, R.I.P.D., a bunch of other movies he was in,
Or X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
Oh,
yeah, I thought that, maybe he was going to bomb it. But then I thought about it again. All the other movies it was bad writing. It wasn't really him. He wasn't being a bad actor. It was just a lot of bad writing. And I thought this movie was written really well. It's the most accurate comic book movie I've ever seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Deadpool fan. It actually is. There's only minor tweaks that they made.
Yeah, the movie was great. I honestly loved it. The fact that, Ryan Reynolds did above and beyond to like perfect Deadpool was amazing.
See, he like made sure the project kept going, and it was a lot of his effort too that kind of made sure the movie actually got finished.
It was a great team effort. The Ryan Reynolds acting and his motivation towards the role, and the writers and the director that they chose for it, the whole team that made this movie. They just all were so in sync, and because of that, we had this movie that everyone loves, or most people loves. Not those parents that have no idea what the hell they're watching, and then they see all this and they're like, "What the fuck?" You gotta
Or
get
the
my
fact that
kids
they
outta
took their
here.
kids to this movie, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, like for a comic book movie, especially if it's rated R, you don't take your kids to it just because of its hype. You should probably do like a little research, try to find out
Yeah.
who Deadpool
Research
is.
on why he's called Deadpool, and why everybody's excited for it. Like he's known for doing crude humor.
He's very what was it? A lot of innuendos, like very sexual character himself, and very gory. Probably like a little less than Wolverine. Wolverine in the comic books is a beast, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get any fans by saying this. I didn't like the movie.
Really.
Oh,
I really didn't like it. I thought it kind of sucked.
well,
Really? Let's see. I want to hear this. I wanna
Yeah, me
hear
too.
this.
Why?
is that?
Yeah, I'm interested.
Okay, so when I got into Deadpool, it was slightly before Secret Invasion, and so like Cable and Deadpool had just ended, and I read all the classic stuff, dating from his appearances in X-Force and New Mutants and whatnot. And I really liked him from that. That's what I liked him for. Ever since Secret Invasion, I don't like Deadpool anymore. I think he is a somewhat annoying character, almost like how the characters perceive him. Like the way that Spider-Man treats him, I feel like it's deserved. I think he's a really annoying, like, joke character. And that's not really what he was back then. I think
Yeah.
it portrays what he was, and I think
In
this
a
movie
way,
adds to that.
He was like serious at first, but then like I guess they made him more of a comic hero. Like more not a comic, more of a comedian.
a comic relief.
Like,
He's definitely
well,
more of a comedian. He plays to the masses. He's Tumblr's favorite superhero.
it's kind of different than that because definitely because I'm in the same boat as you, although I like the movie, but before, because I've really stopped reading a lot of Deadpool now, but before, like, they heavily focused a lot on like giving him reason to his like what he did and like kind of his story and background, and there was actual depth to the character, but they've kind of been shedding it now just in favor of pandering out to the crowd and getting more getting populated for comics, which is kind of like, it's kind of sad that he had to be the scapegoat to do that, but it's not a bad use for it. honestly. I mean, comics do need this kind of drive, and I mean, with superhero movies, it's helped, but anything else to help it along the way, so that more good stuff can come out from the comic book industry is good, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm glad that that it succeeds because it means that more movies like it will be made. But I personally don't feel that crazy about this movie, and I don't personally see what the big deal. I mean, I get why people like it, and I think that's fine. I for some reason, it didn't do anything for me. I thought it was a little too over the top, a little too Family Guy.
Yeah, it appeals a lot to like a lot of the newer Deadpool fans, where they're kind of more familiar with the just wanton does shit for does stuff for no reason, but not in a way that can be sometimes serious, or Deadpool can actually be taken as a threat. It's more just
the comedian side of him.
Just being a side joke, not even really an important character. But I mean,
my favorite moments of the movie were the more serious moments. I thought that's kind of what he's about. It's
So
not.
would you
It's
compare?
not all about the jokes.
Would you compare this movie to the older Deadpool and think it would be accurate?
Well, it's definitely more accurate than that. There's no way it couldn't have been more accurate than that.
Fucking laser beam eyes and adamantium sword arms and.
Okay, well, yeah, well, I mean,
Oh yeah,
everyone knows to ignore him. He's
he was a mistake.
he was a mistake.
Yeah,
yes.
that's the best way to describe it. What were they thinking?
He was
when
just
they made him?
Man, they probably thought they could
I
just-
got an idea. Give him swords in his hands, make him look like Baraka. That's
Mortal Kombat.
I honestly thought that he looked like Baraka from Mortal Kombat. I was like, what is this?
What do you? Have you
Yeah,
guys-
no, I
have
think
you-
they thought they can just save it just by giving him the name Deadpool. They're like, oh, just call him Deadpool and everyone will be okay with it.
Yeah,
no, that's not.
That was one of the most disappointing movie moments of my entire life, seeing that in theaters. Because Ryan Reynolds was good in that movie. I mean, when he was actually Wade Wilson and he was in the elevator and stuff,
he
did a good job.
Wade
Yeah.
Wilson.
He didn't have the mask,
You just know he was wearing the red and he had the swords and he had,
His name was Wade.
everything else going on. You just know.
Yeah, but yeah, it was him. It was him. Yeah, he didn't have to wear the mask, but it's him. And then, of course, whatever happens at the end happened. But have you noticed? I've always noticed one thing about this fight that I never see anybody else ever bring up about that movie or in that fight specifically. The final fight in X-Men Origins Wolverine when they fight Deadpool. It's like a shot-for-shot remake of the Darth Maul fight from Phantom Menace.
What?
With
Like, it has the same
Qui-Gon and
structure.
Obi?
Yeah, it begins the same way. You have a big set of doors that open up and the bad guy's there. And they both look at him, and they start fighting, and then it ends in a room that has a circle in the middle, and the bad guy falls in the middle.
You're right.
Wow.
That's
I didn't think about that until now.
Yo, that shit just got deep.
mind blown.
Yeah, I've noticed that's the first time.
Maybe they were trying to tell us that Marvel was gonna take.
Phantom
It's
Menace.
gonna go to Disney. All of it's
No,
gonna
I don't know.
Don't start this. Don't start
Illuminati,
Disney.
Illuminati confirmed.
But I will say this. When your movie is ripping off the Phantom Menace, then it's bad.
The Phantom Menace was.
I
bad.
mean, you can't. Look, come on, let's not bring Star Wars into this. Come on.
True. Yeah, we're gonna get.
Yeah, let's not talk about Star Wars. That's a whole
That's
nother.
a-
That's
that's
a
a-
whole nother.
That's a whole other
That's a
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way that this movie was made, the newer one, it was like a mixture of a whole bunch of different genres. You had comedy throughout most of it. You had horror for the part where he transformed into Deadpool himself. You had romance and you had action, and
Oh, my friend, we had more than romance. I'll tell you that.
I'm just saying.
explicit
Ryan
romance.
Reynolds.
It reminded me of an '80s movie, especially near the beginning when in the
Oh, like
scene where he
everything's all.
attacks the van.
Yeah.
The scene where he attacks the van, like the music and everything, it seemed a lot like an '80s movie. I really like that.
Okay, so what did you guys think of their version of the Deadpool?
Oh, like how he got his name?
Yeah, like how he got his name. Like
I was
Yeah.
surprised that made that. I was surprised it made it into the movie because that's
yeah.
way back.
But that's how he got his name. That's how he got his start from the Deadpool.
Yeah.
I don't like that they did it that way, but I mean, considering the time that they had, I can allow the inaccuracy, but
I allow the fact that they made it like a little bit funny, Captain Deadpool. No, it's just horrible.
I was really happy that Weasel and Blind Owl were in the movie at all. I didn't think it was going to reference any of the old stuff.
Did you count all the
But
toys?
then they
that
showed up.
were-
I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Did you count all the toys in Blind Owl's apartment? All the
I-
Deadpool
I-
toys just hidden around the
I
apartment?
definitely, I definitely saw the one that he picked up that was him from X-Men Origins.
Yeah, that one was hilarious.
His most prized possession.
Definitely wasn't that.
But there was like a bunch of bobbleheads, and like I think there was a pop figure like just hidden around the room,
I gotta rewatch
which
it.
I thought was
missed all
pretty
that.
cool.
Man,
Same here.
But there's a few other Easter eggs in the movie too. In the scene where he was going to get like experimented on, like for the first time, we see him being wheeled into that Weapon X program. There was a girl.
That's all he thought it was.
Yeah, there was that girl that had spikes coming onto her back. That girl, I believe, is Marrow. I can't say for 100% for a fact. It kind of looked like her for a little bit. A lot of people are speculating that as well. And we don't see her again, but she did, mutate. So there was no need for her to still be in that facility after it collapsed or during the collapse because she already had mutated. She could have been moved somewhere else. So she could have survived that. So hopefully we can see Marrow in the future if that was indeed her.
I also like how Ryan Reynolds was a cameo appearance in his own movie.
Yeah, sexiest man
I
alive.
thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
Also, Hugh Jackman also had a sexiest man alive cameo in there as well. When
That
he was
was
packing
pretty-
up his
that one was-
backpack.
What about you, Mr. Wilson? What do you got to say?
man.
I know you. He has a lot to say right now.
He sounds overwhelmed. Let's hear what he has to say.
I completely agree with was it Asterisk that didn't like the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's
Yeah.
so many things I can agree with you on that. On like how there's so many I really don't like the direction they take Deadpool, but I mean it's just I like the way they did the movie because it generated interest still in the character. Like I don't want Deadpool to fail, which is the thing. Like and with the way they handled the movie, considering the way the character is like portrayed now, I think it's well done. But in terms of like the old Deadpool and stuff like that, and how he's changed and like how they have some of the inaccuracies with his backstory and stuff like that. It's a little sad to see, but I mean, I could get over it for the fact that, Deadpool has actually got his own movie now. It's more like one of those things where I can give it up for kind of being appreciative of how far it's come,
I'll let it slide for now.
Yeah. Like, and with Cable and Deadpool coming out, I really couldn't be mad at it at all. Like, that spoiler, I almost screamed in the movie theater. Like, I'm pretty
No,
sure.
dude. Honestly, I was clapping when I heard Cable and they're like making a second one. I was like, oh, they're really gonna do this. You know?
The movie
Yeah.
theater I was in, everyone was cheering. Everyone, not a single person. There was probably a couple people who left the theater after the credits, whatever, or during the credits, but almost everybody was still in their seats. I was just like, oh, everyone's waiting for exactly the same thing I'm waiting for. And then afterwards, when Deadpool came out, he was in his full suit, and he had a shirt over the suit and a bathrobe. I think he had some shorts on, too, and I found that hilarious, because it's like Wade Wilson wearing the Deadpool suit, wearing comfortable clothing.
Well, you know
You're
what movie
still-
that's from, right?
You're still here. It's over.
Oh,
No, what was that from?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller. There it is. That was an ending scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He did that exact same thing. Like, you guys are still here. Leave. Go home. Like, that's what that referenced.
Okay, I remember that now. I didn't even make the connection at the time. I was just excited and saw him. But then that scene, that like at the very, 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 very end scene of the movie, that's when he announced Cable in the sequel. They're just, all right, we don't know who we're gonna cast for it. It could be Keira Knightley or whatever the fuck. But for a fact, Cable is gonna be in the sequel, and the whole audience in the movie theater was clapping and cheering. It was great. It was
I
one
think
hell
that
of
guy
a
behind me was still asleep at the time when we heard that.
He probably stood up and started clapping and then went back to sleep.
Yeah.
My theater had silence and confusion at the mention of the word cable. Nobody knew what that
Really?
meant. They were just like, okay.
That's
Yeah, mine too.
Very few
Nobody
people
knows-
know who
nobody knows who that
cables
is.
Are. Yeah, very few people. Like, as for me, I only know Cable a little bit, only
For
because
such a-
he's made like appearances in video games.
I
You know?
love Cable. But Cable, the X-Men movies have made the weird mistake of not including him in any movie yet. So
yeah.
But it would have
that's
been
kind of their fault.
It would have been kind of too soon.
Plus, his backstory is so confusing.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
X-Men
he's-
movies got weird.
Yeah, they had a weird set of casts. They focused mainly on
And introducing Cable's history in that would be even more screwy. I can't even imagine how they're going to do it in this movie.
They're probably
I mean,
gonna do like
They're gonna gloss over it. They'll
yeah.
probably alter it some.
Yeah,
Maybe-
it's just going to be like Cable from the future, Cyclops' son, kind of, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he'll just be there for like 5 minutes and then never see him again.
Yeah, knowing Deadpool, he's probably just gonna like doze off while Cable's explaining who the hell he is.
Yeah, just like how he was talking to Colossus, and then Francis left.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
that. I do like how Colossus was portrayed in this movie as opposed to how he was portrayed in the older X-Men movies. However, it kind of sucked that he was always in metallic form, the whole of it. It would have been cool.
Oh,
if
you wish to have seen him like in his normal skin.
Yeah, like
Oh,
you brush your teeth, a hero, and he's fucking eating breakfast in metallic form. Like,
You need
What a
protein in you. Here's a
Colossus.
granola
I
bar.
mean,
Colossus is
that
ready to
probably, like,
fight.
how can he taste though in metal form? I mean, doesn't that cover up his taste buds?
probably.
Yeah, I mean,
Or they would just be
maybe.
metal taste buds.
It'd probably make it so that way he could eat anything he wants. That's probably why he did it.
I like how was it him or was it Negasonic Teenage Warhead who answered the door?
Negasonic.
Negasonic, yeah. And then Deadpool, what did he say? Something about it's a big house. Too bad there's only enough money to bring out 2 characters.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It would be cool if somebody else popped up too, but then that would set up for more of what the time period is.
It would just hype up, for people expecting to be more characters in the movie where it's just like, it's like, we're just going to take it slowly, don't get ahead of yourselves kind of thing,
Real quick, speaking of the time period of the movie, towards the end of the movie, during the final fight scene, when Deadpool is killing off all of those unmarked soldiers, there was one soldier in there. His name was Bob, and Deadpool recognized him immediately. And Bob, if you guys are, if you're fans of the comic book, you know who Bob is. He's an agent of Hydra, which means
Hell Hydra.
that Hydra it takes place in this movie, even though Fox doesn't own the rights to Hydra because Disney does. So that kind of places it somewhat in the same universe, just from the mention of Bob himself.
From the mentioning of Bob, yes, but they haven't mentioned Hydra at all. So right now, he could just be a hired goon.
Yeah, he's
'cause
just Bob, agent
works
of
in,
blank.
like, a lot of places.
And Bob Agent of Blake.
This is true.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is right now. He's not.
So they're
he's not Agent of
not
Hydra.
necessarily in
He's
the same
just-
universe yet.
He's just Bob right now.
Yeah, but didn't...
Yeah, because they confirmed that the fight at the end, it does not take place on a helicarrier. Like everybody was saying it does, but the director came out a couple of days ago and was like, actually, it's not a helicarrier. It's another kind of ship
Wow.
that's very similar to the helicarrier.
That's the next thing I was going to touch on. I was going to say that the ship that they were fighting on was rumored to be the helicarrier, and that would make sense to Hydra.
Well, I got there before you, bitch.
Ooh. You got it.
Fight me. Fight me.
20 steps ahead.
I was just going to say that if it was the helicarrier, it would make sense that Hydra was over there during the wreckage of the helicarrier, to investigate it, scrap it for parts, and dig deeper into S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. And that would also mean that this movie would also have taken place after the events of Winter Soldier. However, if they declassified it as not the helicarrier, then that throws that theory out the window.
It would be impossible for the two universes to be one, though. It would be absolutely impossible because you would have to. That would create so many plot holes.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm just saying this would
Yeah,
be the first.
like the MCU and the X-Men universe could not collide just by their very nature.
Just because
there'd be 2 Quicksilvers running around, and you're telling me that S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't ever mention mutants at any point? Seems like it'd be a big deal. But, I mean, of course I'd like them to fold it in.
I mean, they could retcon. Maybe, because they often reboot movies. Maybe they're saving it for, 10 years after the first... Well, no, they're still doing X-Men movies, but... No, you're right. It seems kind of hard, but I feel like maybe in the future they could consider doing that if the interesting...
No doubt in my mind, in the next 10 years, Deadpool will be in a Marvel movie. I 100% think so. Because, I mean, just with the speed that the Spider-Man thing happened, that they allowed him to all be in the movies, it will happen with X-Men eventually.
Yeah,
think that's
eventually
because Sony
he'll be
broke.
with Wolverine,
Oh, that'd be a good one, actually.
Yeah, if he cameos in the Old Man Logan movie, which is also rumored to be confirmed, I believe, to be rated R.
Yep, they're talking about doing a rated R.
That'd be a sick ass cameo.
I wonder why they made it rated R. Any ideas, guys?
Yep.
No idea. I have no idea why they would ever do that.
Couldn't be because Fox had another Marvel movie that was very successful as rated R at all. There was a lot of parts of the movie that I did enjoy. Like the final fight scene when he forgot all his weapons, and that was kind of one of the results from the budget cuts the writers ended up confirming. So they just easily played it off by him forgetting his book bag in there. So that made it so they were able
And
to save a
that
lot of money.
taxi.
Yeah.
Huh.
The taxi, they should do like a
Nice.
super cut of just the taxi scene.
He ended up killing his own brother because of that. Or not his brother, his like cousin.
His cousin. They should make like a movie with just Dopinder. The last fight scene was pretty well done. Just the soundtrack playing to it. X gonna give it to you.
Do you think they played that song because Deadpool is fighting alongside of the X-Men?
Or maybe because Deadpool was a result from the Weapon X
Nah.
program.
I think it's just because that song has gotten really popular nowadays. Like, it's had a brief like resurgence. I've seen it. Like, I mean, the one example that's coming to mind right now is Rick and Morty. That one.
Yes. Yes.
So how many of you guys heard that, or people try to say that Vanessa was Domino?
Oh my god, I heard that so many
Oh,
fucking times.
man.
It pissed me
Everywhere
Yeah.
I went.
There wasn't a single day or a single minute without after leaving the movie hearing that. I'm like, really, guys? Come on.
If you're a
Hey, guys,
Deadpool
she's
fan,
Domino,
you
she's
should
Domino.
know. You should know. That's copycat.
Yeah.
Cold by cat.
Like all you
I
have
almost
to
got
do is
fired from work, so I wanted to slap one of my customers for saying that.
you should have got fired from work. No, I'm kidding.
Bad. That's a bad person. Don't ever say that again.
Politely corrected them by throwing a comic book at their face.
Read.
Just take this and go. I'll even give it to you. Just go rethink your life. And,
Just put it
go
on
ahead.
my tab. Get the hell out of here.
Just take it off my check. This person deserves to read this. If you're gonna talk about it, make sure you know what it is.
But yeah, Vanessa is copycat. Copycat has the abilities of power mimicking and shapeshifting, so she can take your appearance and your abilities by making contact with you. So just think like an OP Mystique. So like whenever she makes contact with somebody, she can take their form and ability to then take their personality entirely. So that's how she ended up becoming Domino herself and fighting alongside of Cable, just so that she can keep a closer eye on Wade Wilson or Deadpool.
What? Let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. What do you think was the funniest part of the movie, and out of your point of view?
Stan Lee at the strip club.
Stanley at the strip club.
That has to be Stanley's best cameo appearance in any of the Marvel movies to date.
Hands
He was
down.
DJing at the strip club.
At a strip club. That was the best part of the entire movie.
And mind you, for those who haven't seen the movie, the strip club, it was like titties out and everything. It was R.
I think he was like really excited to play as that cameo. He was like, "All right, here we go."
He's all finally.
He's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds. Thank you.
And when he made that cameo appearance, before he made that cameo appearance, I was seeing all these posts saying like, what if Ryan Reynolds or Deadpool sees Stan Lee and then he recognizes him?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I kept hearing. That's
would've
that.
been cool,
Like
too.
as
Maybe
I'm kind
in
of
the
glad they
sequel.
didn't do that, actually.
Maybe
I
in
don't
the
know a little
sequel.
too much.
It would have been, breaking the fourth wall a little too much, which he has done throughout the movie quite enough. He broke the
He would've-
16th wall.
he would have broken he would have broken like, well, let's see, what's 13 times? What's 16 times 2? 32nd wall, if that makes sense.
Yes. He broke the 16th wall in the movie. Where he was just like looking at the camera to then go to a flashback, and then within that flashback looked at the camera again, and he was just like, whoa, I just broke the fourth wall within the fourth wall. That's like 16 walls. that was great.
I think what's funny is when he had that little baby hand that looked like a spork.
Oh, yeah.
That
He's
was
touching
great.
that lady. He's like gently,
Blind
like-
out.
yeah. And she goes, "Am I crazy or is that your hand?" I'm being touched by a little spork.
He's like, I'm gonna touch myself in a little bit. I bet you it feels huge in this hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
What do you guys hope to see in the future movies? Hoping, praying that they do an X-Force movie and it actually goes through. I know Ryan Reynolds was talking about it, but I really hope it comes sooner than 10 years, like this Deadpool movie. Like, I want to see it within, like, the next 3 years.
It could happen. I mean,
I want to say 3 years. I'd probably say
Maybe 5.
5. Yeah, 5. Maybe it could happen. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think it will take more than 5 years.
Nah.
I actually think Thunderbolts could be like one before that even though. Now I think about it. Since DC is doing Suicide Squad.
Yes.
The one movie I would like to see would be a Deadpool core movie. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
That
Oh,
would
yeah.
be I don't think I don't think anybody's ready for that yet though.
Yeah.
That would be overload.
I mean,
Yeah.
they have the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so the Deadpool core movie would be around par with that kind of setup. You know, traveling
Yeah.
the multiverse and everything. You can definitely see multiple universes of characters. So
Yeah, just like in when they did the old Spider-Man, the Spider-Man, we actually had like 6 arms, and then like the rich one, we had like an iron suit kind of thing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's like it's like a sellout kind of thing. Like for comics it works great, but I think for movies, that's almost like a sellout plot. I feel, especially for like
Yeah, I
Deadpool.
I got annoyed with one Deadpool in this movie. I can't imagine watching one with 5 of them.
at least
You were really upset with this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really didn't like this movie. I'm sorry. I feel bad because like you guys really liked it. That's awesome.
No, no,
That's
it-
how
it-
it was.
That's why you're here. This is the only reason why
yeah.
you're here.
the
you're
only
speaking
reason.
out of your, you have, your right to speak of your opinion of why you didn't like it. We're not gonna say, oh, get out of here. No, you're here because you're giving out your opinion of the movie.
This is a good point for us to compare how the movie did to the comic books, how similar it was to the comics, especially the origin of Deadpool. So, how did you think that fared,
How
Mighty
accurate it
Asterisk?
was to how do I think it like compared to the comic?
Yeah,
Well, I like that it covered the origin basically the way it was in the comics. I like that it was, it was like, and it had Weasel and Blind Owl and a little hint of Bob. So that was pretty nice. I didn't expect that at all. And of course, Copycat, who I haven't seen anybody think it was Domino, but if they did, they're stupid. They should have showed Copycat's powers. That's what they really should have done. But hopefully, Domino's in the next movie because I don't care about Copycat. But
damn.
I'm saying it. I don't care. I don't care. Domino's cooler. And you know who's even cooler? Siren. Siren is Deadpool's
Yeah,
best
this is
buddy.
Atheist
Siren's
around you.
cooler. Siren's cooler and better.
Me personally, I kind of feel like maybe this movie shouldn't have done the origin. I feel like maybe it possibly could have done better if it didn't. I know that you have to introduce that element, and it was done pretty much well. But I feel like maybe it would have been a little more fun if we just kind of had like a few hints at it, like the first Batman, like not a whole lot, but just like, oh, that time I was bred in a lab. That's a story for another day. Blah blah blah. Anyway, and like, I feel like that would have made a more accurate kind of movie because. For a long time, if I'm correct, we didn't really know a lot about Deadpool's past. Even now it's kind of debated whether or not his name is even Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
So it felt weird to have like a definitive account of his origin when we haven't really gotten that before.
Well, I don't think it's still definitive, but at the same time, it's still somewhat following the Deadpool and Death annual, the basically the issue where they kind of revealed his backstory, kind of, but they tried to keep it mostly to that, and that sort of works out well. But of course, even then, it's still considered like it could be all made up because Deadpool's insane. But
that was another point that I wanted to bring up. Is Deadpool insane in this movie? Because I always thought he was insane, and I don't think he was really insane in the movie.
Well,
He
the
didn't-
voices weren't always in his head.
Well, yeah, but the voices weren't there at the beginning either. That's more of a recent thing. He did have the boxes, but it wasn't like the defined personalities that they have now.
It's more, of course, in line with the newer Deadpool and how he's not really. Insanity kind of is like less of what it is actually, more than just like him being like
A goofball.
crazy.
I hate that. He's more of a goofball than he is. He's supposed to be nuts. He's supposed to be a guy who can't hold his tongue in any situation because he is a nut bar.
He's actually like not able to function in society. But
No, he's not. He's like Charlie. He's like completely incapable of being able to contain himself.
Well, there were a few moments in the movie that I thought that he that he definitely like lost his mind in it. There was a part where Colossus knocked him out, or like when he was fighting Colossus, and he ended up punching him, broke his wrist, punched him again, broke his other wrist, kicked him, broke his ankle. And then later on, after he was handcuffed, chopped his own hand off. That's kind of crazy.
See, that felt very Deadpool, but even then, it didn't.
Yeah.
It just didn't. He didn't feel insane. He didn't feel
Well, what,
nutty. I always felt like Deadpool was an unreliable narrator.
what
Because
about
like
when he was? What about when he was counting his bullets as he was shooting and he wasted a couple of shots on one dead body?
Yeah, he was like 3, 2, fuck.
oh no, that's still kind of goofballish. Like
You think so?
Yeah.
yeah, like one of the things that like they shouldn't, and I'm glad they didn't. But one of the things I always liked about like his relationship with Blind Al, for example, it's shown at sometimes to be kind of like one of those things where it's like it's beneficial, and like oh they kind of like each other, but of course Deadpool's an asshole, but she puts up with it. But like actually, she's like a prisoner.
Yeah,
Because-
she is a captive. She is his captive because
Yeah,
he's
like,
nuts.
He keeps her like in a room like oftentimes when like she misbehaves, quote unquote, and like with like a bunch of sharp objects around her, of course, because she's blind, that's kind of fucked up, and like he basically just keeps her like as a prisoner in his house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
so like
That's why
it's
that
pretty
relationship
dark.
was interesting. And then in this new movie, he's just like his like quirky old roommate.
yeah, that did kind of suck. At the same time, though, like there was like parts where like she was building that freaking drawer, and they just completely let her do it on her own. That was hilarious. And he just
Yeah.
completely collapsed. And yeah, he could have been more fucked up to her in the movie.
But I think that's what this movie needed, because I don't think you go super dark right out the gate.
Yeah, he
Like
did need
No, I think
I
this
mean, if
movie
they
should have
do
gone
it-
like full Batman Begins. Like this movie should have been dark.
But
Yeah,
no,
that's-
but I think even though like original Deadpool was still dark, he was like the clown hiding behind like whatever the fuck they call it, like when people have like the tragic past hidden behind the smile, whatever, right?
Yeah. He has that that kind of personality where it's
Like-
he's the clown, but he's actually sad.
yeah.
I like it. I like that they do keep that, because even at the beginning, it was still, even at like the old comics, it was still like a good half and half to like maybe 60-40 comedy versus like actual darkness. So I don't think it was actually more to where Deadpool was more dark than he was comedy.
It was just more balanced.
Yeah, it was a good balance back then. And
Because
for
I
a
mean,
movie, yeah, but
he was annoying to people because he was insane, but we got to see the inner side of that, where it was like, okay, so he's not actually like a completely just insane mercenary. He has this kind of tough past and this rough life, and he's disgusting, and seeing his adventures was kind of seeing the reality around that big joke that everybody saw. Because when Spider-Man looks at Deadpool, he's going, what a complete joke. What an awful human being that I don't want to be around. He smells. And for some reason, the modern Deadpool comics have turned it like we're Spider-Man. Like we're looking at Deadpool like he's the funny, jokey guy. And I feel like the movie kind of does that too. Even though it has the origin,
yeah.
it's
So-
kind of goofy.
If they were to, if he were to just go completely nuts in the sequel, would you forgive the first movie? Like if he completely goes wacko, unpredictable, doing some crazy messed up stuff just because something happens in the movie that causes him to snap and lose it, would it make up for the first movie?
I think so.
Well, I think they could fix this. I think that if they did the right
It's
things,
fixable. Yeah, they can totally add it
yeah.
in.
Because I mean, you also have to remember that this script is a little bit old. I read this script when I was in middle school. It was leaked online, which is a part maybe why I didn't like the movie, because I kind of knew everything was going to happen. But I think if they wrote it now with more modern sensibilities, it might be a much better movie. I really hope that the new one is better than this one.
Well, you said you read the script freaking so many years ago. Were there any differences in the movie now than from the script back then?
Very minor, very minor. Negasonic Teenage Warhead wasn't there, but Colossus was. So that scene where they're in the taxi was just Deadpool and Colossus. And the fight at the end didn't take place in a helicarrier, but it took place in like an abandoned building, kind of like the Matrix. And they fought from floor to floor. It was pretty cool, actually. I like the ending of the script a lot better than the movie. And there was no Green Lantern references.
Yeah, well, I'm
And
sure.
there was a few. It was written before Green Lantern, so that's why.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, I'm sure
Oh.
like the jokes, especially the improvised ones, definitely would not have been in the script.
Oh yeah, definitely. There was a lot less with Weasel. Weasel only had like 2 lines in the script.
That sucks. I'm glad he had more lines.
Yeah.
Speaking of changes and stuff in the movie, what do you guys think, or are any of you guys familiar with Negasonic Teenage Warhead before this movie?
I
I
had
was
no idea who the hell that was.
When it was announced that she would be in the movie, I was like, I recognize that name, and I remembered it from New X-Men, the one issue she was in. For some reason, I remembered that name, and I was like, oh, really? That character? Didn't she die? And then she pops up in the movie, and she's completely different. So I have no
Yeah,
idea
her whole
why they
look is
did that.
different. In,
It
in
was-
the
her
comics, she
look was
looks
different.
like a boy, and she has completely different powers.
Oh, I mean, because she had a funny name, I think is why she's included.
Yeah,
But
I mean-
but was it necessary to rewrite the entire character though?
I think so.
I mean, they're playing fast and loose. I think it's okay. Honestly, I mean, did it
Do you think
harm?
it would cause an issue to comic book readers and other fans who might already know that already have Deadpool knowledge and comic book knowledge before watching this movie?
I mean, I'm
I
pretty sure.
think you need attachments. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure a lot of the majority of the audience, even if they read the comic books, would not have known Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And if they did, like Alex said, she passed away soon after, which means that they could have just completely rewrote the character with minimal
you're-
effects to the comics.
I mean, I would excuse you if you're a huge comic book fan and you've never heard of her. It's like ridiculous that they used this one issue character. It's really bizarre. I guess that's because the name is so memorable. Because I mean, it does mean something that as soon as I read that name, I was like, I know that character, even though she was only
I've heard
in
it
one
somewhere.
issue.
I think in order to like care about this, completely mutilating this character, you need to have an attachment to her. And one issue is there's no time to get attached to her from like that one issue. So I mean, I think honestly, if this was like them changing like Psylocke to be like something completely different, people would have a problem with that. But like this is like just some kind of one-off character. I mean, it's not really. I don't think it's really hurting anybody who's like a huge Negasonic Teenage Warhead fan.
Yeah, and I doubt she's going to be in the sequel anyway. So I mean, really, who cares? She didn't really do much in the movie anyway. It's kind of weird she was there.
She was
Hey,
just
she
like,
exploded like 5 times, man.
That's a lot of
man,
times. Yeah, and her powers are way different too. Like in the movie, the powers are pretty evident. She exploded, and that's pretty much it. And she's also really moody. Her powers in the comic books, she can predict the future, and also that's pretty much it. So there's a huge difference between exploding and predicting the future. I mean, who knows? Maybe she still can predict the future, and they just haven't really mentioned it now. And she'll probably play a huge role in like in Cable and Deadpool. She could probably just be in the movie, be like, "Hey, what the hell is Cable? Is freaking Cyclops' son doing here?"
That would make sense if she can predict the future and Cable, does a lot of time jumping. That would be actually kind of cool.
I saw somebody try to explain that basically her powers, like they had the theory that her powers are actually the same in the movie, and she's somehow manipulating her control over time to do that weird cannonball thing she could do.
I mean, I don't think she can time travel. It's just predicting the future.
Yeah, I don't understand how it works either, but somebody tried to explain to me that it was basically she had the same power, and it was really weird.
I mean, at any rate, I think the fact that her name is, has Warhead in it, I think it fits it a lot better that she can explode better than what her powers were before. So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm even happier with what they did to her than, what she was before. Once I found out what she used to do, like that makes no sense compared to this Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
A few of the other characters too, like Colossus. For some reason in my head, I don't know why, but I thought that his metallic form was made out of like adamantium. So in the movie, it confused me when Angel Dust had that metallic coil wire, huge thick ass wire around his neck, and was able to bend his skin. And I was like, that's odd, but huh. So then when
Found out it was organic steel.
it was organic steel. It's not adamantium, so that made a lot more sense.
not at all.
More believable. I was like, oh, okay, they did a good job there.
All right. They didn't script that bad.
He's a metal man, just not that kind of metal.
Yeah. So that was my mind. And that's also to clarify it for other people. It's not made out of adamantium. It's just organic steel.
How would you feel if you were the only one who thought that?
I'd feel really embarrassed and ashamed.
So after seeing this movie, are you guys expecting maybe another video game, maybe another comic book series related to the movie? What do you guys think? I'm thinking
I'm thinking of Deadpool, the movie, the game.
Oh god, not another Street Fighter.
No, not another Street Fighter. Never
Street
again.
Fighter, I will kill you.
Actually,
Oh man.
Adult Swim cartoon series.
oh god,
That would be cool.
That
I
would
wouldn't
actually
mind
maybe, yeah.
that makes sense.
I wouldn't mind that.
I could really see that happening.
I'm too scared of like what they would do with the Deadpool cartoon series, even like on Adult Swim, just because I could see it getting old like really, really fast.
Yeah, I can too. There was he was did a little like a cameo appearance where he was like a side character in one of the episodes for Ultimate Spider-Man. I think it was like second.
That episode's so awful. It is so awful. It's like hard to
But that's what
watch.
makes it good.
It showed,
Every-
It is the worst
so
version of that
awful.
character I have ever seen.
It's-
The worst.
it showed what Deadpool could be if he was like a PG character. So and it was not
Yes.
good. He didn't even say
And apparently
kill.
that obviously shouldn't happen.
Yeah, he didn't even say kill. He said he's gonna unalive somebody.
Yeah, we have to unalive people.
That's where the whole unaliving thing came from, and it's dumb. You should not keep it trending.
I will.
You know how the internet can be.
I wanted to ask you guys about a certain moment in the movie. I was wondering what you guys thought about. There was one moment. Obviously, the movie didn't really appeal to me, but I wasn't like angry about it or anything. I was just like, oh, okay, I get it. And there was one moment in the movie that actually kind of infuriated me, and I was wondering if you guys, as people who like the movie, if you noticed this. Okay, there was one moment in the movie. It's whenever they get to the final battle, and they get out of the taxi, and they're like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And Deadpool goes, time to break out the chimichangas, or something like that.
Oh god.
Oh, trying to break out the chimney.
It was so cringy. It was
Yes,
so awful.
I-
It felt
It
like
was
so
unnecessary.
forced.
I'll give you that. It was really unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It would have been funnier if there was maybe like a chimichanga stand, like a street taco stand or something.
Wait,
and then
did he ever
stop
mention
it.
like
No.
anything about tacos or chimichangas at all throughout the movie besides that part?
Yo, actually, that is pretty kind of. That is.
No, he didn't say anything else except for
Yeah.
that. That was the
Doesn't
only
that-
reference.
Like like if he had stopped and got some on the way to the fight, that would have been kind of funny. But when the way he just dropped it in there was kind of annoying.
It was pointless.
Yeah.
It was fan service for the fans who just heard of Deadpool. It was an unnecessary plug-in for that, but I bet you all those newer fans were just like, oh my god, he did the chimichanga. I was just like, oh cool.
Yeah,
It
cool.
killed me. I feel you with that whole question. It like the whole chimichanga thing. I mean, like when it's been played to death, I think, and I don't see it as much. Like I don't read a lot of the Marvel Now comics anymore for Deadpool, but it doesn't seem like they play into it as much, which I'm kind of happy with. But it's definitely one of those things where they're trying to make him into a meme. Yeah.
I mean, he has been since 2012 when they relaunched the comics, or not relaunched.
He's
but-
been a meme. He's been a meme since Secret Invasion. That's why I stopped liking him. Because it's just been the same thing. It's been chimichangas. Woohoo.
So you're a David Way hater? I mean,
A Daniel Way hater? A Daniel Way hater?
Daniel. Sorry, I always keep David.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm a big Daniel Way hater. I think he ruined the character.
I mean, I didn't like the direction he took either. So yeah, I could definitely agree with you there.
There's some Daniel Way issues that I like. I mean, I really like that the arc whenever he is facing off against Bullseye, who's disguised as Hawkeye. I really like that. And I mean, I like the Secret Invasion tie-in and whatnot, and I like some of it, but he just took it in a weird, bad direction.
Yeah, I don't think I hated it as much as you, but I hated the direction that he wanted to take it in. Is I guess where I can agree with you there. Like, it wasn't as much of a hate for like his writing, but it was just the direction he took Deadpool in really just kind of it ruined it for me, and it kind of it started the downward spiral of him into just the.
I can point out one issue of Deadpool, of Daniel Way's Deadpool, that ruined the whole thing. That ruined that character for me. It's an issue where it was tying in what the X-Men were doing at the time, where basically they were moving to San Francisco. And so Deadpool, he's just in San Francisco for some reason. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But he's there, and he decides to like blend in with the culture or something, and he wears like short shorts and like a little pink shirt, and he's riding around on roller skates and going, hey! And as soon as I saw that, I
Wait.
kind of started hating
But
Deadpool.
okay, wait. He did that in the like near not roller skates, but he did that in near like the first issue of Cable and Deadpool, like the first second issue. Like he was in like the.
Yeah, I know, but
I mean, it's not the same. I agree with you, but
it's a little different.
Haters gonna hate.
like,
Haters
I
gonna
don't think David Way completely ruined it, but he definitely. I think he started something that wasn't good for the series because I don't think it was him that like necessarily caused it to be ruined, but it was definitely Marvel Now. I think that ruined it. Because
I actually liked Marvel Now a little. Like I kind of liked that first arc a little bit when he's fighting all the ghost presidents. I kind of thought that was okay. I was like, okay, I can live with that.
You know, I really liked him in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and then in the sequel, Killustrated.
What, Daniel
Yeah.
Way was in that? Or writing that? No.
I don't think so.
Cullen
Killustrated was Cullen Bunn.
Yeah, Cullen
Yeah.
and Delaware Talenjik. But yeah,
like
Killustrated was great. I loved it. But Daniel Way, I believe he also did the writing for the game, the Deadpool game as well.
He did write the game.
Yeah.
He did write the game, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. You know, I played the game, and I enjoyed it for what it was. The only saving grace that it has was that it was a Deadpool game. Other than that, it was really repetitive.
Did
Like-
you all beat the game?
I beat it,
Huh?
yeah, 100%.
I
Yeah,
actually
I
haven't
just
played it yet. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't played the game yet because I didn't have the money when it came out.
Okay, well,
It's okay.
we're gonna
Did
spoil
anybody
it.
not like the game?
I played the game. I didn't like how it was transitioning throughout the game. They included cable with it, which was cool, but again, it was like very memey throughout it.
Guys, I'm sorry, I didn't like the game either.
Yeah, like,
The problem
Yes,
is nothing worth saying.
I only played it for a little bit. It was alright, but I mean,
it was really repetitive.
yeah.
It
Story
was super repetitive.
Yeah, it's also
Like-
pretty easy too. Like I beat the game.
It was easy, but it was floaty. It felt floaty. Deadpool didn't have any weight to him.
Yeah, that's true.
It was super bizarre. Like it didn't feel fun. It just kind of like felt like I was waving like a Nerf sword at people.
The first time I played it, I liked it because it was a Deadpool game. I waited a long time for it. I pre-ordered it and everything, so I was still caught up, in the hype. And then after the hype died down and I played it again, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, this is really shitty. This sucks.
Like, the fuck, bruh.
Yeah, they could have done more with the game. Like right away, like even though I enjoyed the game a lot, right away I was bummed out with this one thing. There was this so when I pre-ordered the game, I ended up getting an exclusive costume and challenge map or survival map, really. When I saw that I had a new costume, I was like, oh, cool, I can play through the game with this costume. In the very beginning of the game, you can go to Deadpool's closet and everything, and I was just trying to interact with this to see if I can change my costume, to see throughout the game if there was a way to change my costume, and there was absolutely none. And the only way to change your costume is if you play a different level, and then those levels have the costume in it, which was a huge
That's a
bummer.
bunch of bullcrap.
Yeah, it was
What
a
the
huge bummer to me. So, like, if you wanted to play the Days of Future Past Deadpool, you had to play this very specific challenge map that had that costume. And no other map would have that, and you can't even touch it in the campaign.
Wow, that's a disappointment.
They effed you in the A, dude.
They did, and I was highly upset with that. I was just like, great, so I pre-ordered it. I got this bonus thing that I can only use in this one map, and it was crap. And some of the costumes had like different weapon skins as well. I think the P Diddy one had like golden swords, which is cool. Or was it golden hammer? I think it was golden swords. So if you played that if you played that one challenge map with P Diddy in it, you would have the golden swords. But if you didn't use the golden swords, everything else was, I think, the default.
Well, okay. How about, what did you guys think about him in Marvel vs. Capcom 3?
I
Oh,
liked him in that one. He was Deadpool in that one.
I can rant about Capcom. For
Who's just like,
Capcom is a-
who just
yeah.
gave like the biggest sigh ever? Who was that? I just heard.
that
What do you
was
think?
Adam.
Why? Okay, I want to hear this. I really want to hear this.
I only like Deadpool in one video game. I like him in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. That's the only game I've ever liked him in.
Me too.
I thought he was annoying in in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like him grabbing the life bar and stuff and yelling chimichanga and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I was really excited that he was in it, but
Made.
You pressed the wrong button.
I personally liked his inclusion in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I didn't like Marvel's Capcom 3 as a whole, and I will get into
Oh, I
that.
love that game.
I'll
I
get
love
into
Oh
that
it.
game.
man, Shadow,
love
Listen,
really?
I can rant about
That game's
Capcom
so good.
forever.
I got
It's so fun.
that game so hard, but I'm so glad I'm not in that anymore because it's a cancer, honestly. But it's fun to watch.
I
It's
cracked
fun to
out
watch.
hard on that game. I cracked
Yeah,
out hard.
I like Deadpool in that game actually. I mean, like he was
I like-
actually not bad, which was the part that I really liked.
Yeah,
I thought
that's the one. That's the saving grace is that I actually kind of liked using him as a character.
Because
He's
he
a good
wasn't
fighting
trash.
character. He has a good move list. I just don't like his voice audio. Like every time you throw a grenade, he yells "pineapple surprise," or every time you use his gun, he has to say "bang." You know, it's just like the little things like that that's very repetitive because it makes me not want to do the same move over and over again or do certain
But,
combos because I just don't want to hear them.
Yeah,
but I'll
see,
be honest, I think a lot of my problem has to do with the voice. I don't like that guy voicing Deadpool.
Nolan
A lot of
North.
people really like him voicing Nolan North voicing Deadpool, but I didn't really care for his voice. I like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance voice, the kind of like scratchy sounding one.
Actually, I believe Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the first one, because this is back in 360 days when I first got my 360. I think that was the first time I was introduced to Deadpool. And it was a cool introduction because the character, he was a great character to play in the game. He had the swords, he had like that radial attack. He had the guns which had the range. He had the teleport sword thing which catches multiple people and he could be like untouched. And several other moves as well. Those like the main ones I used. And then his teleportation, which I found awesome because I was able to teleport through like half the fucking game throughout it. But he was a really, really fun character to play in the game, and I used him so much, and that my hype for him grew in that first game, even though like he had no main story thing, but he did have secret dialogue with certain characters, which was funny to hear, and then I also started growing more attached to his personality as well, just because of the things that he was saying to these characters.
I found out who he was through Google Images.
Gurgle.
Google Images. Gurgle Ermiger.
You typed in Deadpool.
Basically, no. I was just looking at like comic book covers that I wanted to read and stuff, and I saw this guy. He kind of like Spider-Man, but he was like holding a gun, and he had like swords, and I was like, who is this? Who is this guy? And I looked up more about him, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. He's kind of cool. And then he was in the game, and I was like, oh, he's in Marvel Ultimate Alliance. This is kind of cool. He's kind of funny. And then that's why I liked him a lot. For like 2 whole years, I was like cracked out on Deadpool. I started writing my own Deadpool movie because I couldn't wait for the new one to come out.
Actually,
I
wait,
really
what's
did.
everybody's
Should have hired you.
introduction to Deadpool?
The what?
Like, what is
That's
everybody's
what I'm saying.
intro to Deadpool? Like, do we have everybody else's story on how they, I guess, first found out?
Well, that was mine. The Ultimate Alliance 1 was when I was first introduced from him. After that, I started, looking him up on my own and found out, New Mutants 98 and other works that he was included in.
My introduction, probably it's kind of similar to Shadows. I saw him in Ultimate Alliance. I thought he was a cool character. But when I really got into Deadpool was, I want to say maybe 2010. Is because that's when I started working again, and then I started making my own money. I can go to the comic book store and buy my own comics, and I started getting back into it. That's pretty much what I kind of had a reintroduction to him, and so that's pretty much how I got into him. And then my friends hate me now because I'm like, Deadpool everything. Even, with the good, the bad, good writers, bad writers, good drawings of him, artwork, yeah. Through the thick and thin, I've been there, but yeah, it's probably the same as Shadows though. Saw him in a video game, thought it was cool, did my research, went from there.
Around, like, when I was 10, I was kind of into comics back then, so my parents would take me to the store kind of often to buy comics and stuff. And then they didn't check, like, who Deadpool was, but I got a Deadpool comic by virtue of thinking it was, like, he looked like Spider-Man. And it was definitely not age appropriate, but I loved it. I loved it ever since, actually, because of I guess, being 10 years old and seeing the superhero curse was like this huge thing for me back in the day. Kind of then, like, after that, of course, like, understanding a bit more like the death behind them. And then when I was old enough to understand it during like my angsty preteen years, I was able to actually appreciate it a bit more, I guess.
What was the comic again?
Oh, like I did get Circle Chase. Like it was surprising that I found it in the store because like I'm not like I wasn't 10 in 1993. I was like just born then, but like it was still in the store like around then.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What about you, Great Saiyaman?
Well, mine's not really as big and great as you guys. I think I started. I think I started in Marvel 3. That's when I started getting into those games, and then I see Deadpool. I'm like, Deadpool, who's that? I just randomly chose him, and at first, my first thought was like, oh, this guy's a joke, But then I started like, you started talking about it. I'm like, all right, well, let me see what's up about it, and then I started like reading about like his story, his background. So then I just started, getting more into him. That's when you told me about Bob as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when you told me about Bob, and then that's when it all started. Like, oh, Deadpool's, he's funny, but he's also like a mark, stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. It's really hard to explain for me. It's just It started off at one game, and now it's just like leading towards the comics, and then the movie. Back to the comics, trying to get more into him.
Yeah, same here. So we're still on topics like games and stuff. There was this a fan page on Facebook called Real Deadpool. I don't know if you guys know about it or not, but this fan page, Real Deadpool, was made for the game Deadpool. It was just doing a lot of stuff about it, promoting the game, after the game came out, talking about the game, DLC, et cetera, then like more memes and stuff like that, and everything like that. Recently, they stopped working on the things for the page. The first thing that I noticed, they posted up a picture on February 29th, and it was a picture of, I believe, Nolan North in a full Deadpool suit reading a magazine. I didn't get to really make out what he was reading, but he was sitting in the Activision Blizzard studio. And for those of you that played the last game, that one was also made by Activision and High Moon Studios. I was just like, oh, cool, he's back in the studio again. Hopefully they're working on another game. I was really excited for it and everything. Then a couple days later, I forget what day exactly, but they ended up posting up another picture. I'm going to try reading this as quickly as I can. And it says, "Dear fans, if you're reading this, you've subscribed to my social media channels. Good for you for interacting with brands online. While I've been lounging away on my C4 chair with pizza box ottoman and basking in the riches and glory of reposting internet memes, my merc work has been piling up. I've neglected a lot of good contracts lately. Overthrow a dictator, defeat 8 robot masters, buy moisturizer. That was not a contract. I just believe in full body hydration. Anyway, they said they'll offer the jobs to Gambit if I don't take them, and I'll be dead in my grave before I let that hipster doofus show me up. So I must bid you farewell. For now, remember, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and 10 years ago we had it all along with jobs and cash. Your friend, Deadpool." So I have a feeling that they're working on a sequel to the Deadpool game, maybe not related to the movie. They probably saw that the movie was a great success, and the studio's just like, yo, we need to get right back on this. Or maybe they've been working on the game for a little bit, so the PR team who's been working on the page decided to take a break from that and focus more on advertising for the second game, which, if that's the case, which is a rumor that probably I just constructed myself, but if that's the case, then hopefully we can see the game coming out late this year if the advertisement team is getting to work on advertising, or next year.
Maybe next year. I feel like next year is like probably more likely because this year's sounds a little bit ambitious.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe they'll pull out like a teaser trailer this year and then announce it for next year, like early or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, that's just one thing that I really wanted to get out there because I don't think a lot of people know about that fan page for that group, but if you don't, there you go. There might be a sequel to the game, and may or may not be related to the movie. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it'd be like a Deadpool, like a Cable Deadpool, like buddy, like more focused on both of them. That'd actually be kind of cool. Like if it was like a Cable and Deadpool game.
Maybe even co-op. Who knows? If they're not making the game, then we should definitely like fill out some sort of like petition, get their awareness, and be like, hey, we want a sequel or something. That's if you do. If you don't, then feel free to not do anything.
I really love that idea actually about co-op, like a co-op game for like, because I mean co-op games like are traditionally pretty fun. Like playing games with your friends and actually being able to participate, like, both of you, is usually a pretty good formula.
Yeah.
I think that actually like a pretty good way for them to go in terms of doing well and improving on the the not train wreck, but disappointment for a lot of people that was the last Deadpool game.
Yeah, and if anything, if it is a co-op game, if it's either 2-player or 4-player, if it's 2-player, then it'll be awesome if it was Cable and Deadpool. More focus on the co-op and having the story revolve around both of them and not just him. But if it's like a 4-player co-op game, then it would be awesome if they did a Deadpool core game.
Deadpool core. Yeah, that is actually really cool too. That could work there, I think too. Actually,
yeah, because they'd have similar powers, so no one would have more. Everyone would be balanced more or less. They'd have similar abilities and similar weapons.
It should be like a role class kind of thing, like how what is it, Donkey Kong, like in 64 with
yeah, with Diddy Kong.
Yeah, like, and then you'd have, like Dixie Kong was the one that could, climb up trees and like, fly and whatever and go small.
Lanky Kong, the one that can turn into a freaking balloon.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. You have Kid Pool can like do whatever, Head Pool can do something else that's also unique, and Dog Pool does something else unique. Oh wow, and things like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But who knows? These are all just like speculations and ideas and stuff like that, and they'll be really cool if they did something that could involve more players, because the first one it was lackluster and the story was short and it could have been a lot more. I guess the hype for it wasn't built up as much as it could have been, but hopefully with the sequel, if they are making it, they'll make it more tailored to a bigger audience and a bigger audience that can interact with each other, because the more fun games are games that you can play with your friends. If you can't play with your friends, and it's just a let's play of you, it's just a walkthrough at that point.
I think it puts like a lot more, I think, stress on like the game to have to be really good. Where like if you're, not to say that I hope that they skimp out on like having like quality in the game, but if it's like a co-op game or like with 2 or 4 people, you can kind of shortchange the quality of the game, because you're playing with multiple people, so it's kind of more like one of those you'll enjoy it more with your friends. You'll less notice some of the things about the game.
Yeah, because like just the last game that they made, or the only game that they made, that's all Deadpool. If you can just play that game with your friends, it definitely would have changed the tide for the game.
Yeah, like it'd be a lot more fun at least, and like, well, maybe not with the huge hordes that it had and stuff like that, but well, no, it actually would. I think it would, because then it would make it less less tedious.
Yeah, and then you can approach things differently, have the bosses a bit stronger, so you have to use your teammates to help you out and stuff like that, and it would have been cool.
Like, I think it actually would work out better in a lot of the cases.
You listening to us, High Moon?
Definitely not. Hint, hint.
Well, yeah, that's just one of the things that I wanted to bring to attention, because I don't know if anyone's caught that or not, and if not, then now you did. You're welcome.
He's probably plotting against you right now.
Motherfucker.
What's your guys' favorite story arc of Deadpool?
Cable and Deadpool.
Cable and Deadpool?
Just the entire thing. Not even the...
No specifics, no favorite part? Like
Secret Circle.
What about it?
Past, Cable and Deadpool.
I'm sorry?
The classics. I like the Joe Kelly stuff a lot. That's my absolute favorite. Anything Deadpool, Joe Kelly is amazing. And Cable and Deadpool.
What makes it your guys' favorite? Why Cable Deadpool?
It has that whole buddy cop feel to it, and it's more. I mean, it's not that Deadpool is like bad as like a lone character. He's fine being just the character by himself, but like having Cable as like this foil to like his character, kind of like to bounce things off as like the straight man, as he's this hugely moral person. And then you have Deadpool as like a contrast to it. It makes the story dynamic a lot more entertaining, I guess, because you have these huge contrasts between the two characters that are both at the beginning, and they're tied together in such like a it's such a like loose, haphazard way. It's kind of a stupid way in which they're tied together, but it's great, and it works for the series because it allows them to just kind of play around with it, because like, oh, Deadpool just suddenly, like Cable just suddenly appears, or like Deadpool just suddenly appears next to each other, and they've got to work through this wacky situation together. But also at the same time, they kind of keep the seriousness with it. Like it's one of the series I think that has like a really good tone between the amount of seriousness they give Deadpool and the amount of hilarity they allow him to have, so that it's not like one overpowering the other too much.
So they're
I just like the idea. I like him as a co-star. I think that's what it is. I think he needs a straight man.
So you think as a standalone, you don't like him, but as a supporting guest character in the comic, you think he's good?
Wait, who's the supporting character?
Deadpool.
Deadpool. No. He's not a supporting like Cable and Deadpool are like equal parts of this. Oh, I guess it's more Deadpool, but they're kind of like equal parts. It's more like having them as like two main characters, but they're both equally like important in the series. It's like none of them is overshadowing the other in terms of like story events. Deadpool to some degree you could say is as important as Cable, isn't it?
He is, but I mean, you still get enough time with Cable, and he does feel like a co-star, which I feel like he thrives there in that position.
Yeah, because
So-
it makes him look so much better.
So like in Thunderbolts, like Deadpool's not like he's not the leader of it, but he's co-starring in it. He's a part of the team.
That's
Is that the
I mean,
point
like,
you're trying to make, or?
That's why the best Deadpool of the last few years has been the Uncanny X-Force, because he wasn't the main character.
yeah, like he fits well there too. But I like him when he's the main character. But I think the best ones that have been done are the ones. I mean, because in comics in general, if you're the main character, I don't kind of want you to be the main character of a series shouldn't be a joke.
True.
I think in general, like Deadpool is a funny guy, and yeah, I understand that, and he should be all about the laughs. But at the same time, you can't have your main like character just be a complete joke, because then there's no point to the series almost.
And it kind of gets a little bland.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why I think Cable and Deadpool does so well too, because it's Deadpool, although he's somewhat of a joke, he's involved in these serious story arcs and like serious things going on, tied with Cable sometimes and sometimes without, and it allows you to kind of see him like not just as a joke, but as like this actual character that has some importance in the superhero universe. Because otherwise you're just reading about this dick who goes around and pretends to be part of the superhero universe, which isn't kind of what you want to read about.
But a part of what really I liked about Deadpool early on, and I think this is a big reason why I'm very much like anti-Deadpool being the main character and blah blah blah, is because I kind of liked it whenever he didn't show up that much. Like I kind of liked when he would show up in different people's comics, but be very briefly, and he'd usually just say something stupid, or he'd just do something and people would be like, what? And that was what he did for like years, because he wasn't a popular character, and I kind of missed that.
No, that's all he does. But not popping up in other people's comics, and now he's the main one, and all he does is...
Yeah, now he's got 5 of his own freaking comics running monthly, and he is on every single cover every month.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're overdoing it. But
Yeah.
real quick, my favorite comics with Deadpool in it would have to be like the Deadpool core, where again, like you guys were saying, he's not like the main character, although he is the leader of it. There are also multiple Deadpools, but you can see throughout it that they all have their own different personalities. They're not just 5 spitting images of the same Deadpool just looking different. They all have their own different personalities. The reason why I like that one so much is not only am I a fan of Deadpool, but I'm also a fan of like the multiverse theory, and this one kind of just brings both of them together and has multiple universes of Deadpool in one. I really like that kind of concept, and this comic book does well in that. And their adventures together are just crazy. They're traveling like the universe and the multiverse and the B. Arthur. Chasing down a galactic bad guy, and then having freaking Champion ended up joining up their team, and he became Champion Pool. But yeah, that was a nice little addition to the team, even though they didn't like him. They just brought him along for shits and giggles. That was one of my favorite comics books by him. Also, Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Those little 3-part series, the Illustrated and Deadpool x Deadpool.
I really like Deadpool's early appearances, like in X-Force and New Mutants. I really, really like those.
See, and I'm different. Mine is actually one of his standalones. I really do like the Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, and I really like reading Illustrated. it was really good because you see him struggling internally. He really wants to die. He's really done being alive. He's really done doing what he's doing, and he's trying to like end all that because he feels like that'll finally give him inner peace. And so in Illustrated, when he after him realizing that killing superheroes won't help, maybe killing the idea of a superhero will help kill him because if there's no idea of a superhero, then there's no him. And then also what I really liked was I still think it's one of my favorite story arcs is did any of you guys read Original Sin?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so
Yes, I did.
remember when they talked about him killing his own parents and then they introduced his daughter and they introduced like other stuff going on in his past. And then you see him having inner conflict like for a moment you see him not being a goofball, not being, the regular Deadpool. He's actually like you see him going through stuff and
Right.
you
It was
actually
shades of
him.
old Joe Kelly Deadpool. It was awesome.
And you
Yeah.
kind of feel for him for a little bit, in which as a fan, as a reader, you can appreciate it because then, you realize what his secret is. You know that he has more stuff going on than just him going around randomly showing stuff up, messing with other people. Like, he's actually going through his own stuff, which I really like.
And like to agree with you on that point, like that's kind of like what I was saying before, like how that's the basis for having your own series. You don't just have like some guy who is just this zany person who has nothing going on. Like they need to be able to stand alone by themselves as a character. And like what you kind of described there is one of the things that that I guess I'm talking about. Because he deals with his own things and he has his own issues, and it allows him to stand on his own as a character rather than just be like, oh, I'm just this guy that messes up other people's plans. Haha.
Yeah, and kind of like you said before, he hides behind a smile.
Yeah.
And he's also not as
Like-
idiotic as people make him out to be. He's a lot smart. He's crazy, yeah, but he's also pretty smart. Cunning.
The
is
thing
so
is,
better.
and the way he shows his intelligence by him making it seem like he's being unpredictable and being reckless, and then like 2 panels later, you see that he did it for a reason.
Yeah, he
Yeah, I
always
mean,
has
he's
a plan.
strategically brilliant.
He's
That's
just,
the thing about him. He's ex-special forces. I mean, he's a freaking genius in terms of combat. I mean, think about Taskmaster. Taskmaster could barely emulate his freaking fighting style. Of course, that was because he was crazy and zany, but it still demonstrated how much of a master in terms of martial arts and basically what the stuff he is, what he's good at. So I mean, he is a more complex character than I think a lot of people give him credit for.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Taskmaster's ability is
But I
able
feel like
to learn your fighting style within seconds and then use it against you. That's his whole kind of thing, and he's been able to take out a ton of heroes like that. But Deadpool's fighting style, he can never pinpoint while fighting him, and because of that, Deadpool always has the upper hand against Taskmaster. It's just like they don't have that
because
connection.
Deadpool's. Did anybody miss the teleporter in the movie?
I didn't really care for it. I thought it was good that they didn't add it because then it would have been too much. I mean, if they introduced it in the movie and he played with it and teleported a couple of times and then be like, no, this is dumb, I would have been fine with that. But I didn't miss it that much.
It
That
might be
sucks,
understandable.
man. I really love the teleporter. I missed it. That was like a part of him for a long time.
Yeah,
Right.
like I miss it in the comics especially too, but I agree it wouldn't have worked for the movie because teleportation in movies I don't think it ever works that well.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be cool if they introduce it in the sequel and have him again like mess around with it for a little bit, especially like to teleport to Cable or Cable like gives it to him, even though it's not what happens. But since
Yeah.
Cable is from the future, it
Explain
makes
somehow.
sense.
Yeah, because considering they're not going to go through the backstory of how he actually got his teleporter, having Cable give it to him, it also kind of make the whole teleporting to Cable thing make a lot more sense, I guess.
Yeah. I also remember the other character. So because of Deadpool's craziness and his mental illness, whatever you call it, he cannot be killed by Ghost Rider. 'Cause
Oh, right.
He believes
That's
that
right.
everything that he's done was okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
And when
So like the dependent stare doesn't really work on him, because he's fine with it.
Exactly. Like, he's just like, I'm going to make you look at everything wrong that you've done with your life, every single regret, every sin, everything, and play it back in your mind until you die. And then Deadpool's just like, ooh, a highlight reel. But like, nothing plays because he thinks everything he did was okay. And because of that, Ghost Rider can't really do anything to him, as well as Taskmaster and a few other villains that rely on that kind of, mind control thing. I think even in Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, Professor Xavier tries to take control of his mind so he can kill him internally, but then in the process ends up killing himself because he just couldn't.
Oh right, I remember that.
He just couldn't handle it.
I like that Captain America's the only one who gives him any respect.
Yeah, that's actually. Well, no wait. Well, Taskmaster gives Deadpool respect.
To a point.
Somewhat. He's still kind of snippy with him.
They're merc
Yeah,
buddies.
but
They're all
he,
like that.
Yeah.
But Captain America tries to see like the good in him,
Just like
Siren
Colossus.
does.
and
Siren-
Colossus.
Siren does too, though.
Okay, but that's because she wants his penis.
Yeah, and that's why she wants to see the good in him.
So
Yeah,
she
Siren.
can get the good in her.
It's freaking awesome. I love Siren. I totally miss Siren. Did you know that Siren is an X-Men too? And she's like
Yeah.
a little girl? Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of characters that Deadpool knows and stuff like that that a lot of people didn't. Well, like Wolverine, obviously they're like real close to each other. They're like frenemies, if anything.
They're like blood.
Frenemies.
Yeah, there's also Spider-Man. They also have a lot of adventures together as well, even though Spider-Man hates his guts. I'm surprised we haven't really mentioned this at all throughout the podcast. Death.
Oh right, how have we not? That's true.
She's like the most important thing in his life.
In his
Yeah,
death.
that's a big part of the character.
Has anyone read Funeral for a Freak?
Yes. Wait.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought I think that's where like where you feel for and you can understand Deadpool the best.
Well, I guess it all kind of predates to that issue from Deadpool and Death Annual, because that's where I guess where all the backstory basically was where it's all come from. But of course, when he was being tortured in Weapon K facilities and whether by Ajax and Dr. Kilbrew and so on and so forth, while he was going insane, he was constantly being thinking of death, and then eventually, because I'm not too sure on how at that point if we knew that death was actually a figure. What is Death, by the way? Is she like Thanos?
Just an entity, like like any of the Marvel gods, but not like the Norse gods, like the ones that are rarely mentioned.
Well, yeah, like above because the Norse gods are like below the Thanos and like the universal gods or
Yeah, there's like the all-seeing one and stuff like that.
I guess you say up to par with like the Watchers and stuff.
Yeah.
No, they're above Watchers actually, because Watchers can't actually do anything. But you're on the money.
But cosmic beings. There we go, cosmic beings.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
I don't know if we knew Death was like a cosmic being or not at the time, but it was kind of like it helped show, I guess, like her as just this idea of death that Deadpool was infatuated with during his time, like being tortured at Weapon K, and then as he was unable to reach death because of him gaining access to his healing factor, which is kind of somewhat accurately portrayed in the movie. He's never able to really obtain death, and so he has this I guess everlasting courtship, or like he's just constantly flirting with death, but he never can really get with her because he can't actually die.
Also, because of Deadpool constantly flirting with death and everything, one of the other cosmic beings,
The Mad Titan Thanos.
Yeah, the Mad Titan Thanos. He gets pissed off. He gets jealous because he worships Death herself as well.
Yeah, he loves death as much as Deadpool.
And probably in a little creepy level as well. But there's a point in time.
Oh, most definitely creepy.
Yeah, there was a point in time where Deadpool ends up losing his regenerative powers, and it was at that point where he became more cautious and everything, trying not to die, even though he does to get closer to death, but at the same time he doesn't want it to be meaningless. But after Thanos found out that he lost his regenerative powers, he wanted to make sure that he doesn't die to get close to death. So he ends up granting Deadpool the gift of immortality, or the curse of immortality, as you can say. What else is there to talk about? Deadpool's kids.
He has 2 daughters. I don't know how I feel about the second one, her being Deadpool of 2099, but Ellie, his first daughter, she's a mutant, but no one knows what her ability is yet, and I'm waiting to see where it goes, because they show hints and stuff throughout the comics of her being able to have mutant abilities, but no one really knows what's going on with her. I think it's kind of funny because one of his oldest daughter, Ellie, she's half Hispanic, half Canadian, and she has mutant powers that no one knows of. And his second daughter, Warda, she's half demon, half Canadian, which is really weird because she has...
So she's kind of like I would say. I wouldn't say kind of like a demigod.
Demi-devil.
Demi-devil. There you go.
Wait, what is the backstory of Raven? Because that sounds very similar to her.
Raven.
No, she's just the daughter of Trigon, who's basically
Yeah.
But who is
Satan.
the mother? Who is the mother? Is she just one?
They
I
never.
think it's just some lady
I think she was just
demon chick.
manifested.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a
Mitosis.
Oh,
mother father kind of thing. I think
Mitosis.
Trigon just created her.
like Zeus, Zeus's children spawned from his head.
Yeah, exactly. Trigon just created Raven, like as his basically heir or protege.
In the comics, they kind of show that Deadpool has favoritism towards Ellie than Warda, his second daughter, because Ellie eventually dies. They don't explain how. They just know his wife, Shikla, she kills her. They don't explain how, but she ends up killing her. Deadpool kills his wife, and then now his daughter hates Deadpool, and she wants to kill him, but knows she can't because he's immortal.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean he just keeps on living indefinitely.
Well, yeah, he's like 20. He's in the year 2099. He's old as hell, and he can barely move.
But, he still
But the
can't
only
die
thing that's
because
keeping him alive is his healing factor and everything else.
That sucks. That's not a way
Yeah.
I'd like to live.
It's not. It's very depressing. And like his memory's even losing. At this point, the only way I think he can die is if his brain forgets that he has a healing factor and it like shuts it down.
That's really depressing.
That's really depressing, yeah. And then that's like pretty much the only way he can die at this point. But that's pretty much what we know so far, or what's been explained so far in the comic books of his both kids, both of his baby mamas, and showing off into the future. But if they do end up doing Deadpool 2099, I am definitely interested in reading up on his daughter just because she has a cool, like, it looks like an Iron Man suit, but it's not, and she rides a robot pterodactyl around as like a
Yeah,
Yeah,
hover bike.
she's super cool looking. She's really
She's
cool
super
looking.
cool looking. Yeah, she looks badass, but I don't know. She's going through some issues with Deadpool killing her
Did you
mom.
Yeah.
you did hear that they're gonna do they're doing Deadpool 2099 as a backup to the regular comic, right?
I haven't heard about that, but I have heard about Gwenpool coming out in a couple of months.
Gwenpool? Fuck?
She's getting her standalone. There you go.
Kill me.
Another Gwen.
Great.
Gwenpool has been confirmed. She's coming out in a couple of months. Ever since Gwen Stacy had her comic book month and she did Gwenpool,
You mean Spider-Man?
everyone went batshit crazy and wanted that to happen.
The name Gwenpool makes me want to stab myself.
I love it. Let's put her on everything, though. I mean,
That's really what happened. They did it after they did it with Deadpool. They did it with Harley, and then they said, "You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it with Gwen."
What can we make? What's the most absurd thing you can put Gwen Stacy in?
Make her a pool.
No. Seriously, like what is
You guys-
besides that? Like, what's the most
You
absurd
already have
thing?
Spider-Gwen. You're going to have Gwenpool coming out. What about Iron Gwen?
Gwen Vader.
They did that as a cover. Iron Gwen. She actually looked kind of hot.
Ooh,
Yeah. Well, I mean, but she is hot, so I don't think
Captain Gwen.
She's a fictional character.
She's hot.
Don't
She's a hot
don't
fictional
ruin
character. Shut
don't
your mouth.
ruin it for me. It's not cool.
You can have Iron Gwen, Captain Gwen, Gwen Vereen.
Well, no, they even did a cover where which actually inspired my tattoo, Gwenum. They gave Gwen a symbiote look.
I
The
feel like,
symbiote.
There was
So she like that one thing from Terminator, the T-1000.
female Venom.
But like black suit Spider-Man, but white
But
black,
Gwen.
white black Gwen suit Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's racist.
With purple.
That's like every they just like put on every Marvel title ever and replaced everything with Gwen. So like those Iron Gwen, Captain Gwen, Gwenpool, the Incredible Gwen,
okay, there
She
we go.
Gwen.
That's it. I want to not She Gwen, but I want to see the Incredible Gwen.
Me, Incredible Gwen.
So that's pretty, yeah, but that's what gave into the hype after seeing her chilling in a pool. She's swimming in a swimming pool, calling her Gwenpool, and then everyone bought it. Like everyone's like, I want this cover, I want this comic. This needs to be a comic, and then everyone.
But
got
why? Why does everybody want it so bad? Is it just
because
it's a female
Gwen and it's
Deadpool?
Deadpool. That was the hype.
But isn't there already a Lady Deadpool? Why do we need another one? Because her
She's a
costume's
meme.
pink.
Gwen.
Why?
She's a meme.
Let her be a meme. She's gonna be on every cover.
Well, she'd have to die though.
Everyone-
because of the
It's getting a little
I'm
hostile.
gonna speak some
in here.
heresy right now. I'm gonna speak a little heresy right now. I think if I could pitch any idea to them into how to make $1 billion, what they need to end up doing, I know it would involve a lot of legal problems, but they really need to go
Fire
ahead and
Bendis.
do Deadpool. Well, yeah, but Deadpool Harley Quinn.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now I know the crossover is kind of like weird territory right now, the current administrations, but if they did that crossover, they would make so much money. Tumblr would explode.
Yeah,
I
but
was-
is Tumblr indicative of all the money they can make though?
Yeah, probably. A bunch of Tumblr people want to go see the movie. That's why it's so popular.
Damn,
Actually,
you're right. Never mind.
Actually, what's it called? There was a book, a comic book, fan made, called Doctor Pool, and I actually knew the author and the artist for quite some time, and actually talked to them.
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. I shared them on the page once. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But go on.
Shout out to Anna Marie Bryant. But yeah, they ended up making it was Deadpool. I believe Harley Quinn was in there as well, and then they took the TARDIS and they had some adventures in time. And it was
Kill me.
this is old. This is probably like several years old, but
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
back when it was okay to do this kind of thing.
Yeah, that has already kind of been done. It can still be done, but it would have to be.
If it was done
free.
officially, if they did an official, like all they have to do is a one shot. They could just be like, "Hey, Deadpool and Harley Quinn are going to officially meet." They would make $1 billion. That comic book would sell more than X-Men #1.
But yeah, real quick, I kind of want to know for my own sake, what was the comic book for there's Deadpool 2099? I know it's probably not Deadpool 2099, but I want to read it myself.
It is the current Deadpool series. It's Deadpool number 6.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Deadpool number 6 of that just recently came out. It came out like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and it says introducing Deadpool 2099.
I gotta check that out. It looks really interesting. Having to see
Yeah,
a
it's
decaying
fairly
Deadpool.
new. You can pick it up at any comic book store. Easy to find.
Real quick, what are Deadpool comic books would you guys recommend for the viewers yourself?
Does it have to be Deadpool related?
Well, it is a Deadpool podcast, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, dumb question. All right,
Huh.
Deadpool Illustrated.
That's the only one?
Well, all of them.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of comics.
Well, which one would you personally, like, out of the bottom of your heart recommend? Pick a
Bottom of my heart recommend read Illustrated, read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, read the original Sin tie-ins, and read Thunderbolts that has Deadpool in it. Those would be my personal highest recommendations.
All right. What about you, Grace? Man?
Probably, honestly, I think the Uncanny X-Force comics. Those ones were pretty good. I like them a lot.
All right. And you, Mighty Asterisk, which ones would you recommend?
If you care about Deadpool at all, please read The Circle Chase, Sins of the Past. Am I getting that? Isn't that its name? Sins of the Past? It's the sequel.
Yeah, Sins of the Past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Read Deadpool Volume 1, Joe Kelly, all of it, every issue.
Wait, don't take all of my recommendations.
I'm not going to.
You can recommend.
Agent,
Okay.
read Agent X. Read Agent X.
No, but-
definitely. read Cable and Deadpool, and you know what? Read Uncanny X-Force too. And Uncanny X-Force is freaking awesome.
I think he took all the good ones. He was gonna
That's
say.
a lot. What am I left with now?
Look, the character has some good runs. I'm not gonna tell. Yeah, it's all the good stuff.
You
No,
could
he gave you the best one. He gave you the best choice of all. You get to say everything. You know?
No, I did say everything that's left, which is...
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? He didn't mention Deadpool Pulp. Yeah.
Oh.
Pulp was a good one. Pulp
Yeah,
was,
there's that.
Yes.
or
Hey.
if you can get your hands on a Golden Year Deadpool.
Oh, I have that actually. If you want.
Yeah, Golden Age Deadpool. That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's a fun little one. I should have sent that. Definitely, Pulp was a fun one. But I'm thinking besides the ones that he named, I mean, Cable and Deadpool. You know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna recommend it again. Cable and Deadpool. I recommend it twice because
Oh.
That good.
shit,
Not once,
Really
but
good.
twice.
it is a really, really good series. I think it's honestly like, I think it's probably like the pinnacle.
It's the
of-
pinnacle Deadpool, definitely. It's like
Yeah.
it's the best.
Yeah, honestly, it is the best. Circle Chase, of course, for obvious reasons, as you said before. I mean, like it's that. I mean, I think personally, you don't really need to see his New Mutants appearance like originally because it's not sequitur. You can just look it up at your leisure later. But definitely Circle Chase and like Cable and Deadpool, and then Pulp is like one of the ones that isn't, of course, read as often because the art style throws a lot of people off. I think.
Yeah, like that pulp style.
It's really good. Yeah, the art style definitely isn't like as appealing, but it's definitely still like really definitely still is just as fun and
But
for it.
if anyone likes Deadpool Pulp, after you're done with it, please read Spider-Man Noir. It's freaking awesome. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Oh yes.
Me personally, like I said earlier, I really love like the theory of like the multiverse and everything. So I would highly recommend the Deadpool core and Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Also, Deadpool Kills Deadpool is also a multiverse kind of thing because it includes every single Deadpool that has ever been announced, or not announced, but like every single Deadpool from the multiverse, including the Deadpools from Deadpool core. So if you read the Deadpool core and then read Deadpool X Deadpool, you would see some of the same characters, kind of like link the two. The Circle Chase is like his first standalone comic series. It's like 4 parts. That's a good like introduction to Deadpool. And I'd also have to say Cable and Deadpool as well, just because it's just that highly recommended.
Would you guys recommend Deadpool Max?
I've only read the Christmas special for that one. It was pretty funny.
No, I would not. I did not like it.
No?
Honestly, did not read that.
I liked it, but it's not like on the high. It's not like on my super highly recommended list. Not like
It's one of
not
those. It's like one of those low ranked ones, you know.
Yeah.
like it's good, but it's not like it's not.
I wouldn't
worthy-
highly. It's not highly recommendable.
Yeah, it's not like worthy of mentioning outside of like, oh hey, if you've read a lot of the other ones, you can still read this. So I like that you touched on Agent X actually, because Agent X is like a really interesting little like fan theory topic that kind of had going on with it. That's never really been explained, like why Agent X kind of came to be.
Yeah, Agent X is a really interesting character. If you like Deadpool, you like Agent X because he's the same thing. He's
Yeah.
just the same character.
But it's like it's interesting to think of like why they decided to do Agent X instead of like immediately going back to doing Deadpool again. Like that they decided to add this whole layer like confusion to it.
Because nobody cared about Deadpool, and they wanted to sell the title as something else to attract new readers. But I mean, it basically was just Deadpool again.
I mean, like that's true, but I don't.
And
think
everybody thought he was Wade Wilson. Everybody thought he was Wade Wilson, and then
Yeah.
it turned out at the end that he wasn't at all.
Yeah. But it was because like they found people cared about Deadpool again. But like since we never like actually knew the real reason, like maybe Agent X was like slated to be like his own thing, besides just being like Wade Wilson. Although he was basically exactly Wade Wilson, but maybe he was going to be different.
And he hasn't shown up in a long time.
Not since Cable and Deadpool, but
He got really fat, and like the last time we saw him.
So like they need to make a new Agent X, like a new Agent X comic with just like with the fat Agent X. It can be like a standalone series. Like they can give it like at least as long as Taskmaster got for his.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean he's cool. He's a cool character. He's got a cool design.
Yeah. All the scars and stuff. Like he reminds me of if anybody's like been following like played 5 or Street Fighter 5 or like been following like that. You know, he reminds me of like Macaulay with all of like his tattoos and stuff like across his body.
I think you're gonna talk about Charlie, and I was like, I don't know about Charlie.
So I think that's about it for time. It just hit the 2-hour mark.
Woo!
But yeah,
Yeah.
Woo!
We did it.
I want to thank you guys for joining me. BxA Dragon, I want to thank you for joining me. Great Saiiyaman, Mighty Asterisk, and our special guest for this week, Mr. Wei T. Wilson himself.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo,
Did it.
man. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no problem, man. Next week, we're going to be doing a podcast about nostalgia. We're going to be talking about the things that we grew up with, and we're going to have, hopefully, more guests, different guests into that week.
Legend of Zelda.
We shall see. But until next time,
Zelda Wii.
I'll catch you all later. I've been Child the Boss. That's Boss with a 0. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Yeah.